Since I am the first presenter, I have to relate my presentation with the theme of the conference. The conference is related to languages, so I'll just give an introduction of the language, literature, and connection with education. At this stage, if there are no students, there is no need of giving definitions of certain terms, but yes, I'll try to connect all these things so that I can systematize my presentation and deal with the theme. Language is nothing but the means of communication, and this is the most systematic means of communication which is preserved in cultures, and cultures are preserved in literature or arts. When I was a student of literature at Aligarh Muslim University long back, I was taught that arts is, or a piece of art is, the mirror of society, which means through arts the artist present different dimensions, different kinds of societies, different styles, fashions, and so on. So, what is the connection between the arts or an art and education? Arts deal with society, while education brings development in the society. So, this is the place I would like to shift to my presentation, actual presentation, which is related to English language. English language is known as lingua franca of the world. Lingua franca can be roughly translated as the link language. For example, if I travel abroad and the people who I visit in other countries do not know my language Hindi, and I do not know their local language, then there will be only one possibility of communication, and that is English, because English is a word language. English is a lingua franca. For example, in France, most French people do not use English at all, and I do not know French, they do not know Hindi. So, the last resort, the last option will be a communication in English language, because it is the language which is rightly considered as lingua franca. Similarly, English is a lingua franca within India itself. For example, a North Indian, if he visits to South India, he will not be able to interact in Malayalam, Telugu, Tamil, or any other South Indian language. And those people who live in South India may not be well versed in Hindi or Urdu or Punjabi. So, ultimately, I have to communicate with them in English, which is a link language, official link language. Now, English is more important than indigenous languages like Hindi, Urdu, Bengali, Punjabi, and so on and so forth. English is the language of science, technology, it's a language of medicine, it's a library language. These are all terminologies which I would like to just mention to refresh the memories of some of the attendees who have not been in touch with English. Maybe they are from Arabic background, Urdu background, Persian background, Hindi background, and so on and so forth. At the same time, English does not minimize the significance of other Indian languages. English is learned in India as a second language. It doesn't hold the position of the first language or the home language, but it is more important in communication, as I referred to earlier, that is a lingua franca, it's a language of medicine, it's a library language. Most of the books in our own libraries are in English, and keeping books in English gives an opportunity to interact with the world literature, which will be definitely in English. Now, what is multicultural education? My topic is related to multicultural context. Multicultural education is probably the need of the time, because our society, our Indian society is multicultural society. There are so many cultures within India, and there are so many languages within India. 13, 14 languages are official language, while there are 1556 dialects within India, which doesn't seem to be a country. India seems to be a continent in itself, and people are surprised how Indian planning of language manages such a complex issues like offering solution to so many languages in one country. Now, socio-cultural importance of English and pedagogic importance of multicultural education go side by side. If we do not know about different types of cultures in India, different kinds of languages in India, and their implication in pedagogy, a teacher will not be able to justify with his job. What could be the scope of multicultural education is there in this slide. As I said, multiculturalism and plural linguistic features of society in India is very crucial factor in deciding a language policy or deciding strategies of teaching. Since we are related to education, and Professor Mujib is also related to education and pedagogy, we will focus on these aspects. Multicultural education includes cultural phenomena, ethnic issues, language related things, gender issues, race, religion, and related forms of diversity. The idea is, in a classroom or in a school, there are a variety of diverse cultures, or there are different kinds of students who are from different cultural background, different language background, different ethnic background. So how are we going to incorporate all those things in a single classroom unless we are aware of these kind of issues which we will consider in pedagogy? आइडिया ये है कि अगर हम मुख्तलिफ कल्चर्स या लैंग्वेजेस की इम्पॉर्टेंस को न समझें तो अपनी क्लासरूम में किस तरह से इन चीज़ों को डील करेंगे, और कैसे फिर हम हर बच्चे पे फोकस करेंगे, जबकि एक बच्चा मुस्लिम होगा, एक हिंदू होगा, एक पंजाबी हो सकता है, पंजाबी इन कल्चरल एंड लिंग्विस्टिक कॉन्टेक्स्ट, एक साउथ का हो सकता है, एक नॉर्थ का हो सकता है, डिफरेंट प्रैक्टिसेस हैं, डिफरेंट कल्चर्स है. सो हमें एक ही क्लासरूम में इन सारे बच्चों को डील करना है. दिस इज समथिंग लाइक इंक्लूसिव एजुकेशन which a teacher has to know in order to deal with a teaching aspect. Now, how multicultural education is related to different kind of things, or what are the different things which multicultural education is related? Cross-cultural education. Nowadays, interdisciplinary, intercultural education is going on. Integrated English, integrated culture, integrated kind of things are very much in practice. Global or international education, global and international education within India. There are so many students who travel from different countries to different universities of India. How teachers are going to deal with them? The teacher may be a Muslim and he has to teach non-Muslims also. The teacher is from a different ethnic and cultural background or language background, how he is going to deal with students of different background, that will be considered in multicultural education. And there is one more important thing: English being international language incorporates English cultures, English cultural phenomena, for example, their own Western culture, British culture, and there are so many things which we study as a student of English literature and English language. Others may not be able to learn this, but they should be aware of. What are the goals of multicultural education? The first goal is educational equality and equity. There should not be any bias. There should not be anything that a student feels in the classroom that he has been isolated or he is not in the mainstream. Social justice, fairness, which is related to honesty. Reciprocity means it should be reciprocal. I give respect to someone and someone gives respect to me in return. Mutual benefits, something should be beneficial for me and for the other person who I am interacting with. Tolerance and peaceful coexistence. India has been, I do not want to pass a comment on the current changes in India because I am speaking from a very formal platform and which is not a good idea. But India, constitutionally speaking, is an epitome of tolerance and coexistence. There are so many cultures, so many language groups, and we stay together in India, and still we have been peaceful for a long time. Our traditions and history is the testimony of it. Positivism, we should be positive in coping with different things, incorporating certain kind of differences and giving a shape that everybody is benefited. Now, multicultural English teacher, since this conference is related to different languages, themes of the languages, English, Persian, Arabic, Hindi, and so forth. Multicultural English teacher has a greater responsibility on his shoulder because he is dealing with a foreign language, he is dealing with a foreign culture, and he is teaching foreign language through foreign culture to students of Indian cultural background, Indian ethnic background, Indian system of caste and creed, and so forth. So the teacher has a greater responsibility on his shoulder, and as a pedagogue, as an instructor, he should be able to deal with all these things so that he can evolve a compatible teaching strategy to teach English, which is a foreign language, in an Indian classroom situation. What could be the characteristics of a multicultural English teacher? The first one will be cultural competence. Apart from knowledge of his subject, I am not talking about the essential things, essential quality that a multicultural English teacher should possess, but apart from that, an English teacher who is teaching in a multicultural, multi-ethnic environment, he should be culturally competent. He should be aware of different characteristics of different cultures so that he can give respect and he can ask his students to develop a kind of mutual understanding, tolerance, and a peaceful environment to live nicely and peacefully in the environment. Two is flexibility. If a teacher is not flexible and he is teaching one culture, he is something like a fundamentalist, it won't be possible to attain the objectives of teaching a language, especially English language, in an Indian scenario. Number three is effective communication. Communication, as I said, language is a means of communication. It's not only the communication, rather Our behavior also communicates lots of things. Our attitude, a relationship with the student, and that should be a healthy relationship, if not personal. It can be friendly, it can be father like, it can be a relationship like a guide, friend, and philosopher, philosophically speaking. These things communicate. So, apart from language, there are various other communicative modes which I or somebody else as a multicultural English teacher should possess. Empathy. Empathy is a one stage higher than sympathy. In sympathy, we feel sorry for someone, but in empathy, you feel yourself in the place of someone who is in the suffering situation. It's like feeling like the one who is in a trouble, and which is very important. For example, killing of people, so many killings these days, every day killings happen, Unless we feel that we are being killed, we will not be able to raise our voice, we will not be able to do anything for the suffering humanity. Now, reflective practice. What is reflective practice? A multicultural teacher engages himself in reflective practice. What is that? He evaluates his teaching methods, he asks for the opinion of the students directly or indirectly, he assesses his teaching by grades of the students, performance of the students, and so forth. What could be the challenges of multicultural English teacher? The first thing is my personal belief as a teacher and a bias should be eliminated from my teaching practice. It should not be something which can affect negatively the process of teaching English or any other subject, because a teacher doesn't have a religion, a teacher doesn't have a caste and a creed. A teacher is a teacher, and teaching is his religion. Diversity and inclusion. Inclusive education was initiated because of the disability and limitations, but we are including other factors also under this concept. So there are different diverse cultures, diverse languages, and we are going to include in one classroom, and we are going to evolve a strategy which is suitable for different students of different culture. Time constants, and an individual teacher has to deal with lot of things and he doesn't have time. I do not say he should consider she should consider each and everything in a single classroom. He can take up one by one, and then finally he can summarize as a mode of teaching which can be ideal. Learning differences is another very important issue. We cannot expect that one shoe fits every student. There are different sizes of students, and then there are different shoes for them, different styles, different teaching strategies, learning theories and teaching philosophies will be applied to different students, and therefore the teacher has to be an expert. Now I'll go to other slide because I'll take more time than the allotted one. Multicultural teaching strategies, these are some of the strategies which we have to consider. Inclusive curriculum development, which will be suitable for different kind of students. For example, our English books in India have something from British culture, something from Indian culture. Long time back, there used to be lessons of Diwali, Eid, and other festivals. Nowadays, things have been removed because policymakers thought that these are not important, while these were very important for the constitutional adaptation. We follow Constitution of India. We are secular people. We are socialist. We are democratic. So we have to include certain lessons, certain chapters which promote such kind of things. But recently NCERT books have modified contents, and I don't find such kind of things anymore. Now, Language support is very important. Not all Indian students are good in English. They can be a very fragile background, humble background of English language. Some students will be very good in English speaking because they interact with the other lots in English. So these are the things which we need to consider. Multiple intelligence teaching strategy. Multiple intelligence is related to psychology. A child is born with different intelligence, general intelligence and specific intelligence. It is not a verified kind of research, but it has been seen that the general intelligence doesn't lead to specific intelligence all the time. For example, a student who is good in mathematics is not necessarily good in English language. So generalization is not possible. We have to know that some student will be very, very good in language while he will not be good in scientific subjects. So we have to develop a specific strategy for him. Metacognition is thinking about thinking process. It's deep level thinking. It can facilitate students to go beyond certain things. So meta is beyond. When there is enough time, we can discuss about it, but we cannot here. There are so many other lectures, we have to celebrate diversity. We have to consider that there is diversity, and we have to utilize it as a boon, not as a bane. Promoting cross-cultural understanding, I have spoken about it. We have to respect different cultures. We have to address stereotypes and bias. We have to remove this thing from our personality. We have to try to remove these negative things from the student's personality. And now I would like to summarize my lecture with the help of this pictorial presentation, that a multicultural educator or a teacher has to be culturally responsive teacher. There are different colored, different background students in a classroom, and the teacher has to deal. Similarly, we have to deal with the bias, which is beliefs, prejudice and preferences, stereotype. No, we have to ignore all these things and teach in a way that there is no bias in the classroom. This is an image of empathy. The child is sad, he is probably crying, and the pedagogue is trying to console. Individualized support. This is not it's something like individual care. One student has a problem in writing, for example. He is not good in spelling. He's ashamed of asking questions, or he is shy. Then the teacher can approach that student, see what problems he is having, and then she or he can provide kind of remedial help or pedagogic help. This is peer support. One student can tell his or her classmate. This is peer learning basically. Nowadays this has become very, very important in the age of digital pedagogy, where classroom teaching is not very important these days. Self-learning, self-development and digital learning has become a focus. Resilience is very important. If the student is in trouble, he is not in a very good state of mental, he is not very good in his mental level. We can provide resilience, we can make his time relaxing. We can relax him by different methodologies. Personal care, personal relationship, pedagogic help, and so on and so forth. And the last one here for me is being sensitive. Sometimes one child is very sensitive and he is sad or she is sad, and we do not know what is the problem. No, we need to be. So this is just an outline. Such kind of things need a lot of time to explain and deal with the issues. I would like to conclude my lecture here that language is very, very important for systematic communication and without language education is nothing, because we cannot teach students without language. There are other means to support language, but language is the key factor in communication, and it has been seen that those who are good in languages, they are good educators, because they can communicate. So this is the end. Thank you very much for listening to me. If you have any questions, please proceed.